Hello everybody and happy Thursday. Melanie here teaching you Thursday's lesson. All right, so what are we gonna do today? So Thursday is usually a grammar review day. So we're going to be reviewing our countables and uncountable nouns. And for the second class, we're going to be doing another reading with the Guardian, but I'm gonna try and keep it a bit shorter today compared to yesterday. And for the third class, we are going to do an interesting, fun little history reading. So that should be fun. Okay then, let's get started. All right, so you might want to pull out this little handy dandy sheet here. You'll notice that I tried to imitate some of the pictures, but didn't do the best job. So I'm gonna go over this quickly. But yeah, feel free to take out your sheet and follow along, or just feel free to watch the screen here, and you can refer to this anytime in your free time. All right, so like I told you, most of the time nouns are either countable or uncountable. So for example, here we have a delicious apple, and these are countable. Countable. Now, on the other hand, we have rice. So it might look like tiny little grains. Remember, tiny little grains, like you can't really count them unless you pick them out one by one. So typically rice is uncountable. However, today I'm going to show you a few nouns that can be countable and uncountable, depending on the situation you use them in. Now, don't worry, you don't have to memorize every single one of these, but I just want to give you a basic idea of how some nouns can be both countable and uncountable depending on the situation. So, let's get started. So we're gonna start with iron. So, now there's two types of iron we can talk about. So, for example, maybe this is not like the best picture, but this is the material iron, and typically it is used to build things like railroads, sometimes building structures. Typically, material like iron is uncountable. So I'll give you an example sentence. So, iron is used to build railroads. There we go. So here we do not count the iron. Okie dokie. Now, what about when we are talking about the appliance? If your sheet's wrinkly, you're gonna need to use an iron. See, notice how I used an? Because if you're talking about the electrical appliance, this is an iron, believe me, then they are countable. So for example, I need an iron to get the wrinkles out of my suit. Out of my suit. Okay, so here that's an example. Uncountable and countable. Material, uncountable. Electrical appliance, countable. Okay, let's move on to glass. Okay, once again, just like iron, glass can be a material, and typically we don't talk about it as sorry, let me rephrase that. Just like iron being a material, it is not countable. So for example, let's see. So glass bottles are recyclable. Recyclable. Okay. Now, what about if we're talking about a container? So when I say container, we're talking about maybe like a wine glass or a drinking glass. So here I'm gonna put container. I'm not gonna write out every single example sentence because it's going to get very busy up here, I think. So if you do want me to write out any example sentences, please let me know, okay? Now, for example, I love to have a glass of wine with dinner. Notice how I said a glass of wine. Okay, it's very black looking wine. Let's just pretend it's a fancy red wine. Okay, so that's another example. Time. Okay, so when time is uncountable, it is the length of an activity. Length of an activity. Woo. So let's say, for example, I give you guys an assignment. Here you are. Okay, guys, how much time do you need to finish your assignment? This is uncountable, okay? Now, this, this is different. We can count it. When we can count time when we're talking about number of instances. So basically that means like how many times you've done something. So for example, I've been to Disneyland 50 times. Woohoo! I love Disneyland. I'm just kidding, by the way, but I do know somebody who has been to Disneyland more than 50 times. Okay, so here you see we have a number, so that means it can be countable. Everyone understand? Okay, moving on. Okay, material. Okay, so once again, you might be seeing a pattern up here. Material, 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 uncountable. All right. So for example, my dress is made of paper. There's actually a story about this called The Paper Bag Princess. It's a very famous story in Canada. My dress is made of paper. That means your dress is going to fall apart easily. Not very good stuff. Okay, and now when we talk about reports or essays, reports, essay, then we tend to use it as a countable noun. So for example, last week I handed in an essay for my class and now I'm finished. Woohoo! Usually I have to write 2 or 3 reports or essays for my school every semester. I am busy. Okay, next, light. Blinded by the light. Energy form. Okay, so when we're talking about light, we're kind of talking about the brightness that hits us and lights up everything. Okay, so I'm just going to use the example sentence here. So I closed my eyes against the bright light. So we can't say 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights. We don't say it like that. It's just the light. You can't grab the light. You can't count the light. Now, when we're talking about appliances, kind of like here, so light bulbs or lamps. Okay. So I turned off. So let's say I turned off the light. So you know, you can make it light or dark. So we're talking about specifically maybe a lamp. So then it's countable. And last one, work. Okay. An activity. An activity. So typically this refers to school or your job. So for example, I can't go out tonight. I have too much work to do. So you can't count work in this case. However, when you're talking about a product, so for example, let's talk about a famous painting, the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa is a work of art. All right, so in this case, we can count works. So my older sister, she loves to paint. She has painted many works of art. Okay, So that is the countable and uncountable nouns in a nutshell. Do you have any questions? If you have any questions at all, just let me know, okay? And we're gonna flip to this side. I think I just wanna do the top two because they relate to food. I think we're gonna skip the bottom three just so we don't run out of time. Anyway, I'm gonna let you take a picture of this if you need to or finish taking your notes, but I am going to erase it in just a second, okay? So I'm erasing this in 3, 2, 1, she gown. Do you guys have an iron at home? Do you use it very often? I don't use my iron very often, but maybe I should because I guess my clothes can get kind of wrinkly. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna get back into talking about food. Prepare yourselves. Mainly meat and fruit though. Okay. Oh boy, that was a lot to erase. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, so we're just gonna do meat and fruit because I feel like this might pop up. Potentially, it could pop up in your quiz or your oral quiz. You might want to talk about it. Okay, meat, something that many people love, and fruit. Okay, so when we are talking about food in general, both meat and fruit are uncountable. So we'll just put food, food. La, 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 la. So for example, I don't eat very much meat. This is true. Why? I don't really like the taste of meat. Unless it's like Southern style barbecue, then I love it, yeah. And bacon, I love bacon. So I love some types of meat, but typically I don't like to eat too much meat. So I don't eat very much meat. So remember, I think we talked about this on Monday. So for uncountable, we don't say very many meat, we just say very much meat. Uncountable, you say much. However, if we're talking about types of meat, so we could say, what should we say? I love eating barbecue meats like, oh boy, ribs, smoked beef, and pulled pork. This is true. I love like pulled pork and ribs and smoked beef and beef brisket. My favorite. This Southern barbecue, the best. If you can, if you get the chance, go to a place that does Southern style barbecue. You won't regret it. All right. Now, same thing for fruit. We're talking about fruit in general. It is uncountable. Okay. So, here we have, I'll just do the same example. The fruit was, actually I have a better example. Fruit is usually good for you. Boring sentence, I know. Good for you. Okay, so because we're talking about fruit in general, not countable, but when we are talking about kind of fruit, all right, let's see. So I can say wow. I am not spelling well today, I apologize. So we could say maybe bye. Okay, that's not the kind of bye I want to write. B-U-Y, come on Mel, get with it. Okay, so when I go to the greengrocer, remember that word yesterday? Usually I buy many types of fruit. I buy many types of fruit, such as I like to buy grapes, apples, oranges. Sometimes I buy mangoes even, bananas, all that good stuff. Okay. All right, guys. So again, let me know if you have any questions regarding these. So I think we're gonna finish like this part of the review, and I want to go on to a little exercise here. Oh, okay, and I'm not gonna cover this right now. Maybe tomorrow I can quickly go over this, or in your free time, you can also feel free to look over this. So remember how I was saying, usually rice uncountable, water uncountable. Now, if things are in a container, for example, a bowl of rice or a bottle of water, then it is countable. I will have 1 bowl of rice, please. Today, I bought 6 bottles of water. So I'd like you to quickly take a look at this at home in your free time. And tomorrow, we're gonna go over this in more detail, okay? I eat. All right. Okay. So let's do this. We'll just do a couple. Okay, so pull this handy dandy sheet out, and I think I got to erase the board in the meantime. Okay, we'll get rid of the meat and the fruit. Do you have a favorite type of meat, guys? What meats do you like to eat? Like I said, I love smoked meats. Like I like bacon, ribs, barbecue. I don't like ham though. I really don't like ham. Don't ask me why. I don't know why I don't like ham either. Okay. Now, okay, number 1 we didn't quite do. So let's do number 2. Number 2, I eat something boiled egg every morning. Is it going to be a? Is it going to be an? Is it going to be a few? Or is it going to be a little? What do you guys think? I'd like you to please type in your answer for number 2. I eat blank boiled egg every morning. Okay. So remember what you can use countable and uncountable for. Okay. And I'm going to do number 3 as well. Can you give me a few, many, some, or any? All right, don't be shy. Feel free to type in your answers. Okay, so, Okay, so I apologize. We didn't really get to review this, which we did on Monday. So this activity will be a good chance for us to review. So let's do the first one together. So let's see. I eat some blank boiled egg. So there's only one because there's no S at the end of boiled egg. Boiled egg. And let's see. We have a B. So consonant, that means we can't use an because that's only for vowels. Now, eggs, are they countable or uncountable? 1 egg, 2 eggs, 3 eggs. Yep, they're countable. So, and again, this is singular, so we're not going to say a few. A little is for uncountable. And so that means a boiled egg. Okay. All right, so now that you know the rules, what about number 3? Something tomato juice. Tomato juice. Okay, so juice, water, milk, it's uncountable because it's a liquid. We usually don't count liquids. So, a few, this is countable. Many, countable. Some, usually uncountable. Or it could also be countable. And any can be uncountable or countable. So likely it's going to be between these two. All right, don't be afraid to send in your answers now. Okay, let's get rid of number 2. And let's see. Let's do number 4. Number 4. Number 4. How blank carrots? Okay, we have much, we have many, we have a few, we have a little. Okay, so the first thing to do is look at carrots. Carrots, 1 carrot, 2 carrots, 3 carrots. These are countable. You got the S, so you know it's countable. So, how much carrots? So remember, much is used with uncountable nouns. How many carrots? This is used with countable nouns. How a few? This is countable, and a little is uncountable. Now, look at this. When you say how, usually, is a few gonna come after? How a few? No way. How a little carrots? No, we never say that. So when you have how, usually we have how much or how many. So please type in which one you think is correct. Go ahead. Okay, and someone has given us an answer. Can you give me some tomato juice? Very good, thank you. Because, so tomato juice is uncountable, and usually when you're asking a question, if you're asking for something like, can you give me some tomato juice? If you're asking a question, maybe, is there any tomato juice? Okay, now let's move on to number 7. Let's do number 7. Maybe we might make that our last one. Okay. Numéro 7. Okay. There aren't something eggs in the basket. There aren't. So we have too much. We have a lot of. And we have any. And we have some. Okay. Now, let's see, eggs. As we said before, these are countable. You can tell because there is an S at the end, so that helps. Now, all of these can be used with countable nouns. So this is a different matter of not just whether we can use it with countable or uncountables, but we're thinking of positive and negative. So, there are not. So if you take a look in here, how many eggs do you see? 0, obviously. There are no eggs in here. So there aren't too much. So this is kind of like positive. So I'm just gonna put plus sign. There aren't. Then again, this is positive. There are not. This is negative. And then there aren't some. So this is positive. So are not. This is a negative sentence. So which one do you think it's going to be? All right. And I see someone has given an answer for number 4. Thank you so much. How many? That is correct because carrots are countable. So we're going to say, how many carrots do you need? Okay. All right. And any thoughts on number 7 at all? Okay. So the answer I was hoping for was there aren't any eggs. So basically this means there are 0 eggs in this basket. There is nothing in this basket. Now, any is typically used with negative sentences. But like I said in the previous sentence, we could say, are there any eggs in the basket? So you could ask that for, say, like a yes or no question sometimes. Okay, let me just take a quick look at something. Da, 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 da. All right. Okay. All right, I think we will move, actually, maybe we'll do a couple more, because I think we still have enough time. Okie dokie. Okay, let's get rid of this. Oh, gown. Oh, and get rid of number 4. How are we doing? You guys okay so far? Is it difficult, or is there anything that you need me to explain a little bit more? Okay, let me know at any time, okay? Let's do number 8. Number 8. You should eat something orange every day. I do, actually. That's pretty nice. You should eat a orange, an orange, any orange, or a few orange. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. So which one do you think it is? So we know that oranges are countable, but it looks like there's no S at the end, so we only have 1 orange. So which one do you think it's going to be? A orange, an orange, any orange, or a few orange? So keep in mind, this starts with an O, so think about which article is going to be the best to use. Type in your answers. Okay, and let's do number 9, because I love cheese, one of my favorite foods. There is something cheese. Okay, there is some cheese, many cheese, any cheese, and a few cheese. Okay, now typically cheese, countable or uncountable? Cheese normally is uncountable. All right, so we could say there is some cheese. So this could be countable or uncountable. And there is many cheese. This is countable only, so maybe not gonna work. There is any cheese. This is usually a negative sentence, but this is a positive statement. There is cheese, so maybe not this. There is a few cheese. This is countable, so again, maybe not the answer we're looking for. But please let me know. Choose an answer to put in the blank. And I see a response for oranges. You should eat. Very good, thank you. An orange. Why? Because A, there's only 1, no S at the end, and B, remember O, if it begins with a vowel, you're gonna put A-N for your article. Good job, nice. And how about here? I'll give you a few more seconds to look into that one. Okay, we're gonna erase this. And let's see. Let's do number 10. Number 10, number 10, number 10, 10, 10. Okay. There is something honey in the pot. Ooh, Winnie the Pooh would be very happy about this. So we got any, we got many, we got a lot of, and we got a few. Okay, now honey, countable or uncountable? So remember, honey is usually, it's kind of like a liquid, similar to water or milk or juice. So that means honey is going to be uncountable. Okay, so now that we know this is uncountable, so any, usually this is used for negative statements or question statements. So there is any honey in the pot? Maybe not. If you're asking a question, is there any honey in the pot? Then yeah, it would be okay. but this is a positive statement. I mean, you can see all that honey dripping out. Look at all those bees swarming around being like, oh yeah, look at all that honey. Yeah. So probably not this. There is many honey. Okay, many is countable. However, honey is uncountable. So, don't know, maybe not. There is a lot of. So, typically, this could be uncountable. So maybe that'd be useful. There is a few honey. Let's see, this is countable, so don't know, maybe not. Oh, number 9, somebody gave an answer. Thank you very much. There is some cheese. Excellent. Yes, there is some cheese on the plate. Very good. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. And let me just take a look at this. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'm probably going to make this the last one, and we're going to move on to a different sheet after, okay? All right, so this is your last chance to get your answers in for the yummy, sticky honey pot. What do you guys think? What could it be? Just going to take a swig of water. Oh, pardon me. Okay. All right, I see someone has answered. Excellent. There is a lot of, excellent, good job. There is a lot of, so that means this pot is full of honey, spilling over. There is a lot of honey, because we use a lot for uncountable. Good job, guys. Thank you for your participation. Alrighty. So, that is it for the foodstuffs. Okay, we're gonna go on to a different exercise. It's still grammar related, mind you. Okay, let's see. Okay. Let me just, hold on. Oh, okay. Sorry, I think I might be missing something. Feeling much? Sorry, I thought I had the right sheet. Okay, so, all right, this sheet might look a little bit funny, but it looks like every other question you have to make a choice. And so like 1, 3, 5, 7, you make a choice, but 2, 4, 6, 8 looks like you don't have to do anything. So I'd like you to pull out this sheet here, please, and we'll get started. Okay. Okay, so let's do number 1. So it seems like we have had a lot of, many, or lots of. Okay, so, oh wait, hold on. Okay, sorry, scratch that. I'm so sorry, I definitely pulled out the wrong sheet, so please put that away. I might, unfortunately, be missing part of this, so I'm sorry, my bad, I apologize. We'll do this tomorrow, so we're gonna work on this tomorrow instead of today, because I printed out the wrong thing, I'm so sorry. Okay, we'll get more practice on this tomorrow though, I promise. So, instead, okay, now, you know what? I think what we can do is I'm gonna go over this. So I'll go over this part with you, and then the questions that we skipped on here, we'll go over them, like the bread, the cake. So we'll do that later. But first, let's do this. Okay, so typically uncountable things uncountable nouns, I'm going to give you a list. Uncountable food nouns. Okay. All right, actually, I want you to help me fill in this list. Okay, so I want you to tell me some food and drinks that are uncountable. Ready? Go. Type in anything you like. Whoop, for example. So one example is chocolate. So that's one thing I'm going to write down. So I will say, I love chocolate. We don't say I love chocolates. We would just say something like, I love chocolate. I love chocolates. Because usually when we're talking about countable nouns, like I love apples, I love mangoes, I love oranges, then we have S at the end. But for uncountable nouns, I love chocolates, we usually don't say that. Okay? Now, give me some more uncountables. Anything. Okay. I'll give you another one. Pizza. Everybody loves pizza, right? 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 Hopefully. Okay. Pizza is uncountable. Typically, we just say, I love pizza. Not I love pizzas, but I love pizzas. What else? Pop or soda. I drink pop every day. Just kidding, I don't, but I know some people do. Cereal, that is typically uncountable. Every morning I eat cereal for breakfast. And milk, of course. With my cereal, I always have milk. I add milk to my cereal. And what else? Winnie the Pooh's favorite food? Honey, of course. What else? Any thoughts? Oh, I see someone wrote bread. Thank you. Absolutely. Good. Bread. Bread is uncountable. So for example, I eat bread. No, I don't eat bread at breakfast. I eat bread at dinner sometimes. And what else? Maybe cheese, of course. Yeah, cheese. I talk about cheese, how much I love cheese. Once again, water. I always drink a lot of water during class. Notice how I said a lot of water? A lot, usually uncountable. I drank a lot of water all the time so I stay hydrated and healthy. And you should too. And what else? Someone put sugar. Thank you. Sugar and salt. Yeah. All right. Absolutely. Sugar, salt, and how about coffee? My favorite drink of the morning. Someone put tea. Thank you very much. Good. Okay. So yeah, this is an example of uncountable food and drink nouns. These are some of the more common ones we might talk about. And a lot of them have popped up on this list here. Now, what you're going to notice is that if you have them kind of in a collection, almost, you can turn them into countables. But usually, you have to put a noun in front of the noun, if that makes any sense. So, for example, instead of just chocolate, here, as you see, we can say a bar of chocolate. Or you could even say a piece of chocolate. So maybe, for example, okay, when I was young, my dad would always buy a chocolate bar after work. And I'd say, hey, Dad, can I have a piece of chocolate? So yeah, then he'd break me off a little piece and give it to me. And how about pizza? All right, so usually what we say is a slice of pizza. A slice of pizza, which might look like this. Okay, so for example, when I was young, I loved pizza. I loved to eat it. So we got a pizza, my family, and they asked, Mel, how many slices of pizza have you eaten? And I said, I don't know, 4 slices? And they told me to stop eating too much pizza. Okay, and obviously here you could say a can of pop or soda. A can of pop / soda. Nice. Okay, and cereal, usually we could say something like a box of cereal. A box of, or you could even say a bowl of cereal. So for example, I have a bowl of cereal in the morning. Here's my cereal bowl with my sugar Cocoa Puffs. I don't eat that stuff anymore, actually. I don't really like it. When I was a kid, I loved sugary cereals. And let's see, finally, this one you could say, there's different ways to say it. You could say a loaf of bread. So what is a loaf? So a loaf tends to refer to like a large hunk. So for example, this is a loaf. So it's one big piece that's meant to be cut into smaller pieces. Now, if you want to cut the piece, so let's say you take a knife and you cut off a piece, and then this is a slice of bread. All right, so usually those are the two ways we talk about bread. We either talk about a bigger piece, a loaf, or we talk about a smaller piece, a slice. Okay, and we can also use slice with cheese. Every morning I have 3 slices of cheese with my breakfast. Water, we could say bottle of water. I always drink 2 bottles of water when I teach English because talking makes me thirsty. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like I said, please just give this a quick review at home. Don't memorize every single thing, please. Just give it a quick read over and be like, okay, I understand. Just quickly review it. Okie doke? All right, so for the next 6-7 minutes, we're gonna do like 2-3 more of these questions just to review what we just learned. Okie doke? So I'm going to erase this now. Gonna say goodbye to our cheese and our sugar and our coffee and our salt and our loaves of bread. I feel like a lot of the stuff on this list is like semi-unhealthy stuff. Chocolate, pizza, soda, pop, all that delicious junk food. Yummy, yummy. My favorite. Okay, so let's do number 1. Number 1. So we skipped number 1. So let's take a look here at this bread. We just talked about that. So would you like something bread? Okay. So we got a slice of, a bar of, a bunch of, or a can of. Oh my gosh, a can of. That's too funny. Okay, so you got 4 options. So what did I just tell you about bread? There's 2 ways we can talk about bread. So there's the large one, and then there's the small one where we use a knife. So what do you guys think it is? I'm gonna tell you it's not a can of bread. Please, if you guys answer this, I'm going to be very disappointed in you. Just kidding. I think canned bread might actually exist somewhere, believe it or not. I can't remember. I can't really remember where I saw it though. Okay, now let's do number 5. We didn't cover cake, but let's see if you can guess which one you can guess. So I ate only something cake. Oh, they held back. I ate only a loaf of cake. Doesn't sound like a small amount to me. I only ate a bottle of cake. Usually cake is not liquid. I only ate a pinch of cake. I didn't go over pinch. It's like a pinch. It's usually used for salt, pepper, spices. I only ate a pinch of cake. So you're eating cake crumbs essentially. That doesn't sound quite right either. I only ate a piece of cake. Okay, So which one do you think sounds right? So the note, keep note here, they said only. So that means they didn't eat very much. It's like a smaller amount. I ate a loaf of. That's kind of big. I ate a bottle of. Cake doesn't come in bottles, so I ate a pinch of, or I ate a piece of. So look at this picture. See what you think it is. Okay, somebody here has said, would you like a slice of bread? Very good. Would you like a slice of bread? Nice. Remember the verb slice? So it can be used for like meat, cheese, and pizza, and bread. So remember, loaf, this here, this whole thing is the loaf, and then this is the slice, the little black part I colored in. Nice, okay. And I see someone has said, I ate only a piece of, and that is correct. Thank you. I ate only a piece of cake. Now, sometimes I hear people say a slice of cake, and that's totally okay too. So a piece of cake, a slice of cake, it doesn't really matter which one you use. Okay, I think we have time for one more, maybe two, but probably one. Okay, let's see, let's do number, let me see, what would be a good one? I think, let's do number 14. Actually, no. Let's do number 6. Okay, so let's take a look. We got some bread, we got some mice who are having a very good time. We have something bread, don't we? Okay, we have a few, a little, too many, or too much. Okay, so this is kind of jumping back to before I talked about the jar of, can of soup or can of soda, unfortunately. So we're kind of jumping back to before, but hopefully you guys can make sense of this. So take a look. We have, so here the bread is uncountable. So we're not talking about slices or loaves. We have, okay, so looks like we have 2 loaves of bread, maybe. And you can see these mice are eating a lot of it. And so what do you think? We have a few bread. Let's see, bread is uncountable. And this is countable, so maybe not. And we have a little is uncountable, so maybe. We have too many. Many is countable, so might not be very good. Too much is uncountable, so it could be one of those. Okay, guys, throw in your answers and tell me what you think. Okay, let's get rid of this on the bottom here. Okay. Whew. Any thoughts? Okay, so I feel like there could actually be 2 potential answers depending. So we have, I think the answer I was hoping for was too much, maybe. We have too much bread, don't we? Because you can see all these mice, they're stuffing their faces. Maybe we just have too much bread to get through. But if you said we have a little, that would have been okay, because maybe the people don't know about the mice. And they're like, oh, we have a little bread, don't we? And then they check and they're like, oh, oops, the mice got it. Okay, maybe we don't have any bread now. All right, cool, cool. We're just about at the end of our class. We're going to be taking a break very soon. Let's see, maybe we have time for one more. Which one shall we do? Which one shall we do? Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so, sorry, some of mine got cut off. Let's do number 11 with the onions. Please give me onions. Okay, so we'll come back to this after the break actually. All right, thank you for your participation so far. We're gonna take our 10-minute break now, and we're probably gonna do the reading exercise right after. All right, so have a nice break, guys, and see you in 10 minutes. Bye-bye. Hi guys, and welcome back. All right, we're getting into our second class now, and we are going to be doing another article with The Guardian. Whoop woo. All right, so I'd like you to pull this out if you can. Now, today's title is Want to Lose Weight? Eat Off a Crinkly Plate. Okay. Now, you might be able to kind of guess what the article will be about. You guys know what lose weight is, right? So I'll just give you a quick little image just to make sure we're all on the same page. Okay, so here's a person. Let's say, for example, they weigh 170 pounds. And then if they lose weight, then they go to 100 and, for example, 50 pounds. So maybe they lost 20 pounds. So that is losing weight. All right, so if you want to lose weight, eat off. So to eat off something means, well, basically you're eating, but your food is on something. So this might be the tricky part, crinkly. What is crinkly exactly? All right, so let's say this is a normal looking plate. Let's just pretend it's a plate, not a very good looking plate. So this is like kind of a flat or straight plate. So this is flat or straight. Now, what would a crinkly plate look like? So maybe it looks kind of something like this. It has like a lot of bumps in it. Okay, so this is a crinkly plate. Crinkly. So basically it's not flat, it's not straight. I'll give you another sort of idea of what it could look like. Let me just find some paper that we don't need anymore. Okay, I don't think we need this anymore. So let's say, for example, so this is like a flat, nice, clean piece of paper. Now if I do this, and then you'll notice now it's all crinkly. You can see all the bumps and like messy parts here. It's not flat anymore. This is crinkly. All right, so I hope you got the idea of what crinkly means. So apparently what this article title is saying, if you eat your food off of a crinkly plate, you can lose weight. Okay. So let's get rid of the flat plate. So let's see. Actually, maybe I can show you an image of what this crinkly plate looks like. So here, I looked up an image, and this is what it looks like apparently. It might be a little bit hard to make out, but you can kind of see the ridges and bumps in there. So just to give you an image what that might look like, let's pretend we have some food, and I guess some of it's gonna like go in there and up here. So yeah, apparently this is supposed to help with weight loss if you eat your food off of here. Interesting. Well, we're gonna read more about it and see how it works. All right, so let's get rid of this. And maybe I'll write some new words up here. New words. Okay, so one of them may or may not be a new word. Weight loss. Or you could also say lose weight. So weight loss is the noun form. Lose weight is a phrasal verb. And we have crinkly, which is an adjective. Crinkly. Okay. Okay, so maybe we can start with the warm up quickly. Okay, so let's do number 1, warm up. What diets are fashionable at the moment? Ooh, what's trending for diets? Okay, so we have a few diets here that are listed. So we got Paleo Diet. So Paleo Diet, that's basically a diet where you're eating only food that can be hunted or gathered. So you're eating lots of meats and maybe berries and some veggies, but you're not eating bread. Maybe you're not drinking milk, I'm not sure. But it's mainly like meat, some fruit and vegetables. So that's a paleo diet. What about you? Can you guys think of any other diets, like maybe some recent or popular diets? They could be popular in your country. It doesn't have to be Canada. So yeah, what do you think? Please type in your answers below. I'm gonna give you another example. I can't remember exactly what this diet is. It's called the Keto Diet. So here with the Keto Diet, you're cutting out, like, I think it's almost no carbs. So you can't have bread, you can't have pasta, you can't have too much sugar. So I think you can have some meat, you can have some vegetables. I think that might be it. Like fish, probably okay. I'm trying cheese, maybe no. You might not be allowed. Oh, maybe some cheeses are okay. But yeah, this is very limited. But apparently it helps you lose weight really quickly. So I don't know. Any other thoughts? I got one more. Okay, this is an awful diet. Please do not ever try it, but it's called the Cabbage Soup Diet. You may or may have not heard of this. You can probably guess what this diet is all about. So what do you think you eat on the cabbage soup diet? Obviously, cabbage soup and nothing but. Breakfast, cabbage soup. Lunch, cabbage soup. Dinner, cabbage soup. It's pretty awful. Maybe you put a pinch of salt. Remember, a pinch of. I'm gonna put a pinch of. That's a new word. Salt, pepper, etc. So you might put a pinch of salt in your cabbage soup, but that's it. It's pretty awful. So, and it's really not good for you because you need more than cabbage in your diet. So don't do this. Honestly, like me personally, I don't really believe in diets because maybe you're gonna lose a lot of weight at first, but if you want to keep the weight off for the rest of your life, you have to keep doing this for the rest of your life. You can't just stop and then go back to eating regular food. You'll just gain weight again. So that's why, personally, I feel like these diets don't really work. That's my thought. But I know some people, they're really into dieting, so, do what you gotta do. Okay, I think we'll just leave the warmer at that, and we are going to move on to keywords. We're gonna move on to this part here. Okie doke, so I'm gonna get rid of these. Bye-bye, crinkly plate. Super weird plate. Okay, so let's write down the new words. Okay, so just like yesterday, you're going to notice that next to each sentence, next to the blank, you have the paragraph number. So that means, for example, let's say number 1, full of small folds. You should be able to guess this one. Full of small folds. So what you're gonna do is go to paragraph number 1 and see if you can find the word. Okay. A crinkly plate designed with ridges that reduce the amount of food it holds may help people worry about their weight to eat less. Okay, let's see. So, which words popped up? We got concept. We have obese. We also did this word yesterday, so you might remember. We have crinkly. Oh, hey, crinkly showed up in paragraph 1. Maybe that's what it is. We got effort. We have trial. We have manipulate. Manipulate. Perceive. Portion. Ridges. That was also in paragraph 1. And tableware. Tableware. Okay, so these are our 10 words. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so let's do number 1 together. Okay, so number 1, full of lots of small folds. What do you think this is? So this is going to be an adjective. So let's see, this is an adjective, obese. Crinkly is an adjective. And that's it. And that's right, thank you. Somebody wrote crinkly, very good. Crinkly. So this is an adjective. So remember the paper I showed you? So basically, full of small folds, that is crinkly. Okay, number 2, long, narrow, raised lines along the surface of something. Okay, so this is also in paragraph 1. Let's take a look. A crinkly plate designed with ridges that reduce the amount of food it holds may help people worried about their weight to eat less. Okay, so which of these words popped up? One of these words was in paragraph 1. So I'd like you to please type in the answer. In the meantime, I'm going to work on number 3. All right, so test something. Test something to see if it works. To see if it works. So what could that be? So this is going to be in paragraph number 2. Okay. Okay. The plate was designed by Naris Sinovics, a graphic designer from the Art Academy of Latvia. He is working with a Latvian government agency to develop many ideas and hopes to trial it soon. All right. Okay, so this is going to be a verb. So number 3 is going to be a verb. So let's see, manipulate is a verb. Perceive is a verb. And trial is a verb. All right, so type in your answers for number 3, please. And number 4, an attempt to do something that is difficult or involves hard work. Okay, that's paragraph 5. Let's take a look. Paragraph 5. Sinovics has also designed heavy cutlery because it makes eating more of an effort and therefore lasts longer. Okay. So this is going to be a noun. I think most of these are nouns, mind you, except for obese. That is an adjective. Okay. So which of these do you think is going to be the noun? Okay, somebody wrote ridges for number 2, and that is correct. Good, thank you. Ridges, excellent. All right, so ridges are long, narrow lines raised along the surface of something. So I'll draw a picture. So this is it's kind of hard to describe this. Okay, so pretend this is flat. And then these are ridges. So ridges are a noun. This is a noun, ridge. Ridge, noun, adjective. So, for example, this paper is crinkly because you can see it has ridges here, kind of like raised bumps. Okay, so I hope that kind of makes it clear. All right. I don't see any answers for number 3. What I was hoping for was, so to test something many times before it works means to trial something. Okay. And number 4, I see an answer. So somebody wrote effort. Very good. Thank you. Effort. Excellent. Excellent. All right, so that's effort, that's trial, and ridges are done. Okay, so effort, for example, exercising takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of work. And studying English can also take a lot of effort. Okay, I'm going to put that down as a new word for you. Effort. This is also a noun. All right. How are we doing, guys? Are we okay? Or is this kind of difficult? If you want me to explain any of these words, let me know, okay? And I can give you some more example sentences or definitions. Don't be shy, all right? Okay, let's do number 5. The amount of food that one person eats at a meal. Okay, so this is in paragraph 9. Para 9. Okay, so let's look at paragraph 9. The amount of food that one person eats at a meal. Many people think you have to finish the food on the plate. If you can trick their brains into believing that they have a nice big portion on their plate, they will think they have eaten a full meal. Okay, so what word did you hear there? Was it concept, manipulate, obese, perceive, portion, or tableware? It's going to be a noun. That's my hint. Yes, adjective. Okay, number 6. What's number 6? Let's take a look. An idea for something new. Okay. And this is in paragraph 10. Para 10. Para 10. All right, so let's take a look. Paragraph 10. Okay. Susan Jebb, professor of diet and population health at Newfield Department of Primary Care Health Sciences, Oxford University, also thought the concept has potential. Ooh, okay. So this is going to be a noun, just like number 5. So take a look in paragraph 10, see if you can find it. And number 7, what do we got here? To notice or realize something. Notice or realize something. Realize something. Okay, so this is going to be in paragraph 11. Okay, there's 2 words from paragraph 11, so this might be a little tricky. Paragraph 11, let's take a look. Okay. All right. There is lots of evidence that we eat for other reasons than biological need. It is about habit. It is about what we visually perceive. Okay. So what do you think it's going to be? So this is a verb. This will be a verb that we're looking for. All right. Now, let's see. Somebody answered number 5, and they said portion, and that is correct. The answer is indeed portion. Nice. Good work. All right. I don't see any answers for number 6 or number 7 yet. Angela, are you out there tonight? If you are, do you have an answer for number 6 or for number 7 by chance? If you do, that'd be awesome, and please type it in. Let's just get rehydrated. Much better. Okie doke. Okay, paragraph 10, what do we have here? Okay, no answers yet for number 6. So what I wanted people to write down was concept. So concept is an idea for something new. So for example, 20 years ago, the concept of Netflix was non-existent. But 10 years ago, the concept of Netflix came into play, and now there's Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, and there's so many different video streaming channels. Concept. This is a good word, so I'm going to write it down. Okay. And no thoughts for number 7. It's a verb. Oh wait, somebody wrote down something. Perceive. Yes. To notice or realize something is to perceive. Perceive. Okay. Concept. perceive, portion. All right. So for example, the way humans perceive colors is very different from dogs, bugs, and maybe even horses. So it's kind of like the way you see and realize things. Okay, almost done. Just 3 more. Okay, let's get rid of these. Bye-bye. Okay, we've narrowed down our options a lot, so this should get easier. And one of these words you do know or should know. All right, so number 8. Influence someone or control something in a clever or tricky way. Okay, so this is paragraph 11. Influence someone. Okay, what could this word be? Paragraph 11. Let's take a look. All right. Anything that we can manipulate, any of that could be an effective way of eating less. Okay, so this is going to be a verb. So I think we only have one verb left, hint, hint. So type in your answers now. Number 9, too fat in a way that is dangerous for your health. So I think we talked about this word yesterday. So dangerous for health. Dangerous for health. All right. So this is going to be in paragraph 13. So remember we were talking about the gardens yesterday, the community gardens. Okay. More than 2.1 billion, 30% of the world's population, are obese or overweight. Okay, so this should be an adjective. So what do you think the word's gonna be? You only have 3 choices. Okay, and number 10, last one, woohoo! Things such as knives, forks, dishes, etc. that you use when you're having a meal. So this is also in paragraph 13. 13, okay. This should be pretty easy. Okay. However, there has been hardly any study about how tableware design can contribute to weight loss by changing eating habits. Okay, so this last one is going to be a noun. Okay, the answers are practically spelled out for you here because we got 1 verb, 1 adjective, and 1 noun. So what do you guys think this could be? Ah, okay, I see someone has written down manipulate. Very good. Number 9 is manipulate. So manipulate means to use, like to influence someone or something. So for example, humans are very good at manipulating tools with their hands. That's why humans probably have evolved so much, because they can manipulate things with their hands. Manipulate can also be, talk about more of a psychological thing. So for example, when I was a kid and I really wanted like an ice cream, I'd try to manipulate my mother into buying ice cream. I'd be like, Mom, I've been really good this week. I've been doing a lot of chores, and you know, you never buy any sweets or candy around the house, so I think you should buy us an ice cream. And that's me trying to manipulate her to buy me an ice cream. Shame on me, I know. And how about this one? Someone wrote obese. Very good, thank you. Obese. So we learned this word yesterday. It means basically, yeah, too fat in a way that's dangerous for your health. Okay, and the last one that means is going to be tableware. Excellent. Tableware. Now this is not a word we use very often. Typically, we just say cutlery. So cutlery means forks, knives, spoon, chopsticks. Cutlery, I'm gonna put that down. It is a noun. I guess tableware could refer to plates and cups as well. Okay, all right guys, so next what I would like us to do is we are going to do the comprehension check. But I'm also going to read, and while I'm reading, I would like you to try to listen for the correct answers, okay? So let me just grab some more water before I erase the board. Okay. All right, get rid of all that. Okay. And done. All right, so let's take a look at the comprehension before I actually do the reading. All right, comprehension, where we understand the things from the reading. Okay, so number 1. Okay, here's the first question. The plate will help people to lose weight because A, it is smaller than normal dinner plates. B, it looks like it holds as much food as a normal dinner plate. C, it is difficult to get the food out of the folds in the crinkly plate. So listen and see why the plate will help people lose weight. All right, the plate will help people lose weight because. So I'm putting B/C for because, just shortening my sentences. Okay. All right, so number 2. Which of the following is most likely to help you lose weight? A, a small portion on a large plate. B, a large portion on a small plate. C, a small portion that you think is a large portion. So that's going to be number 2. All right. Number 3, the designer of the plate is developing the idea with the help of A, the European Congress on Obesity, B, a Latvian government agency, or C, a British university. All right, so the designer of the plate, is developing the idea with the help of. Okay, so look out for designer. That's a key word that I want you to listen for, okay? And number 4, another idea. The designer has to help people lose weight. So watch out for another idea. That's the key word. To help people lose weight. Lose weight is A, smaller glass plates that show you how much food you have left. B, cutlery that slows down the speed at which you eat. Or C, plates with ridges that make eating very stressful. Okay, so these are the 4 questions. Actually, there's 6. Okay, so I'm going to read over the next 2. Let me know if you're having any trouble understanding these, okay? Number 5, a behavioral psychologist thinks that the crinkly plates, A, might make people annoyed with their meals. B, are still too large and hold too much food. Or C, are a nice idea but not likely to be successful. And so, number 5, the key word is a behavioral psychologist. Okay, so look out for this word here, behavioral psychologist. This is going to be key. All right. And sorry, I'm going to get rid of number 2 because I can't really write much for number 2. And I know it's weird, but I'm going to put number 6 up here. Forgive me. Okay. So, a professor in health psychology health psychology. Okay, so the key here, listen for a professor in health psychology. A professor in health psychology thinks the plates might be helpful because A, bits of food will fall into the ridges and we will be unable to finish our meal. B, they will manipulate, remember this word, oops, not there anymore, manipulate our biological need for large portions. C, they will trick our minds into thinking we are eating more than we really are. All right, so I think I've gone over all the questions, and what I'm going to do is read over this just one time, and I'd like you, as best as you can, to try and answer the questions. All you have to do is circle A, B, or C, okay? And when you're ready, please type in your answers. You can just type in A, B, or C. Okie dokie? All right, so here we go. I'm going to start reading in 3, 2, 1. Want to lose weight? Eat off a crinkly plate. By Sarah Bosley on 20th of May, 2017. A crinkly plate designed with ridges that reduce the amount of food it holds may help people worried about their weight to eat less. The plate was designed by Narius Sinovics, a graphic designer from the Art Academy of Latvia. He, the designer, is working with the Latvian government agency to develop the idea and hopes to trial it soon. It may just look like another designer plate, but it is intended to play tricks on the mind. My idea is to make food appear bigger than it actually is. It actually looks like there is the same amount of food on a normal plate, but there is actually less food, said Sinovics. You are tricking the brain into thinking that you are eating more. The plate will be made of clear glass and could turn eating dinner into a more complex and longer process. It could turn dinner into a more complex and longer process than it usually is for most of us. Getting food out of the ridges in the glass where pieces of fish or carrots may hide will reduce the speed at which people can eat their meal, so they'll have to slow down. Sinovics has also designed heavy cutlery because it makes eating more of an effort and therefore lasts longer. His knife, fork, and spoon weigh 1.3 kilograms each. We tested this, and it took 11 minutes to finish a meal with this cutlery rather than 7 minutes, he said. Our brain takes at least 20 minutes to receive the message that we should feel full. So, if we eat really fast, we think we need more food. We must keep eating. We're still hungry. But if we eat slowly, the message gets through sooner, so we eat less. Remember I was talking about this yesterday? How I'm a fast eater, but eating slow is actually probably better for you? Yeah. Sinovics revealed his idea at the European Congress on Obesity in Porto, Portugal, where experts said they were interested in the plate. This seems like a good idea, said Dr. Paul Christiansen from the University of Liverpool School of Psychology. If people think they have eaten a full plate of food, they will feel more satisfied. Excuse me. Many people think you have to finish the food on the plate. If you can trick their brains into believing that they have a nice big portion on their plate, they think they will have eaten a full meal. If, on the other hand, you put a small portion on a big plate, they will think they are not satisfied and will want to eat more. Susan Jebb, professor of diet and population health at the Nuffield Department of Primary Care Health Sciences, Oxford University, also thought the concept had potential. It is an interesting idea because it will reduce portion size and have a meal with other people, and it looks like you have the same plate size, she said. Although she added, because there has not yet been a trial, there is no evidence of how well it'll work. All right. Jane Ogden, professor in health psychology at the University of Surrey, thought it was an exciting idea which could be very helpful. There is lots of evidence that we eat for reasons other than biological need. It is about habit. It is about what we visually perceive, she said. Anything that can manipulate any of that could be an effective way of eating less. Of course, we need to see some evidence that this works, but if you can tell your body that you are eating more than you actually are, then you might actually eat less. Okay. Professor Charles Spence, a behavioral psychologist at the University of Oxford, hint, hint, who specializes in how we perceive food and taste, said, "This is a nice idea. There are a number of ways of tricking the eye, from the use of smaller plates to make it look like there is more, to heavier bowls. The crinkly plates seem to provide the same impression. But I do worry about how you get the bits that fall into the ridges. Slowing down is one thing, but the danger is people might get irritated if they perceive it to be difficult to eat." More than 2.1 billion people, 30% of the world's population, are obese or overweight. There are many ways to reduce weight: exercises, stress reduction, diets, and others. However, there has hardly been any study about how tableware design can contribute to weight loss by changing eating habits. Sinovic says consumer psychologist Brian Wansink, a professor at Cornell University, famous for inventing the concept of mindless eating, is his inspiration. Wansink and colleagues introduced the idea of moving from a 12-inch plate to a 10-inch plate, which research suggests causes people to eat more than 20% less food. Crinkles may be unusual in dinner plates, but the idea of redesigning crockery and cutlery to trick our brains and our stomachs into believing less food is enough has been around for some time. All right, guys, so that was the reading. Let's see if we can go over the comprehension and find the answers. Okay, so let's see. Let's do number 1. Okay, you can just type in, remember, just type in A, B, or C, okay? So, number 1, the plate will help people to lose weight because it is A, smaller than normal dinner plates. B, it looks like it holds as much food as a normal dinner plate. Or C, it's difficult to get the food out of the folds. All right, so please type in your answers now. And for number 2, okay, I didn't really write number 2 down. Okay, which of the following is most likely to help you lose weight? A, a small portion on a large plate. B, a large portion on a small plate. Or C, a small portion that you think is a large portion. Okay, so maybe I could draw a picture. So here's A. Here's a big plate. Here's a small portion. B. And here is a small plate, and here is a large portion. And here is C. So this person thinks this is a large portion, but actually it's a small portion. Okay, so which one do you think it is? A, B, or C? All right. I see somebody has given an answer, and they wrote down B for number 1, and that is correct. B is the answer for number 1. So the plate will help people lose weight because it looks like it holds the same amount of food as a normal dinner plate. Nice. Okay. So if you can answer number 2, that would be fantastic. Let's go on to number 3. The designer of the plate is developing the idea with the help of A, the European Congress of Obesity, B, a Latvian government agency, or C, a British university. What do you think? All right, so you can probably find the answer. Actually, it's going to be in paragraph 2. So look in paragraph 2. You're going to get the answer there. Okay. Number 4, another idea the designer has to help people lose weight is A, smaller glass plates that show how much food you have left. B, cutlery that slows down the speed you eat. C, plates with ridges making eating very stressful. Okay, so this one, you will find the answer in paragraph. Let's take a look. Trying to find. Okay, paragraph 5, you can find the answer here. Para 5. And let's see, number 5, behavioral psychologist. Okay, so this will be paragraph 12. Behavior psychologist, number 5. So they think the crinkly plates, A, might make people annoyed with their meals. B, still too large to hold much food. Or C, are a nice idea but not likely to be successful. So look at paragraph 12 for that answer, okay? And I see somebody has answered, and they answered C for number 2, and that is correct. Very good, C. Okay, so basically, yes, for number 2, a small portion of food that you think is large will likely help you lose weight. All right, nice. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of number 1. Bye-bye, number 1. And we can get rid of no, we'll just leave number 2 up there, I guess. Okay. And number 3, I see someone has given an answer, and they said B as well, and that is correct, B. The designer of the plate is developing the idea with the help of a Latvian government agency. Yes, Latvia is a small country in Northeast Europe, by the way, close to Russia. Okay. And number 4. Okay, so no answers yet. I'll give you a bit more time for number 4, number 5. Number 6, professor in health psychology. Health psychology. Blah, 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 blah. All right. So this is going to be paragraph 11. I'd like you to look for the answer in paragraph 11, please. So, number 6, a professor in health psychology thinks the plates might be helpful because A, bits of food will fall into the ridges and we won't be able to finish our meal. B, they will manipulate our biological need for large portions. C, they will trick our minds into thinking we are eating more than we really are. Please type in your answers, A, B, or C. Okay. I see someone has answered number 4, and the answer they put was B. Good. So another idea to help people lose weight is designing cutlery that slows down the speed at which you eat. Okay, there's a lot of B's for answers here, I'm noticing. Good. So remember, they're thinking of designing cutlery that weighs like 1.5 kilograms, really heavy spoons and forks and knives. That should be interesting. Okay, so let's get rid of number 3, because we're done with that. And I think we're done with number 4 as well. How are we doing for time? Okay, we still got 5 minutes. What do we do? Okay. All right, and number 5. So like I said, it's paragraph 12. So any thoughts on number 5? I'm going to read out the paragraph. So, number 5. So a behavioral psychologist at Oxford University said, "This is a nice idea. There are a number of ways of tricking the eye from the use of smaller plates to make it look like there is more to heavier bowls. The crinkly plates seem to provide the same impression, but I do worry how you get the bits that fall into the ridges. Slowing down eating is one thing, but the danger is that people might get irritated if they perceive eating to be difficult." So that was the answer at the end there. So do you think it's A, might make people annoyed, irritated with their meals? B, too large to hold too much food? Or are a nice idea and may not be successful? So type in your thoughts. All right, and I'm gonna read out paragraph 11. Oops, here, a professor in health psychology. So, Jane Ogden, professor in health psychology, thought it was an exciting idea, which could be very helpful. There is lots of evidence that we eat for reasons other than biological need. It is about habit. It is about what we visually perceive, she said. Anything that can manipulate any of what could be an effective way of eating less. Of course, we need to see some evidence if this works, but if you can tell your body that you are eating more than you actually are, then you might eat less. So you're tricking yourself essentially. All right, I see somebody has written A for number 5, and that is correct. Good, A. So basically, crinkly plates might make people annoyed with their meals because of the food that falls into the ridges, and it makes eating really difficult and annoying. That is a potential danger of this for sure. You do have to watch out for that. All right, and I'll give you a few moments to look for number 6. All right. So, number 6, what do you guys think? Any thoughts? None at all? All right. Going once. Going twice. Read it one last time. All right. If you can tell your body that you are eating more than you actually are, then you might eat less. So what do you think? A, B, or C? You got a 1 in 3 chance of getting it right, guys. Come on. Much better. Okay, so this is probably the trickiest question because it looks like there's 2 answers that could work, but the answer that I was hoping you would choose was C. The plates might be helpful because they will trick our minds into thinking that we are eating more than we really are. So I'll draw a picture of this. So here's a person eating, and here's his food or her food, whoever it is. So, you know, it's like a decent portion, but they think they are eating a lot of food. Actually, it's pretty small. The amount of food they're eating is pretty small, thanks to the ridges in the plate. Because here you can see, here's the ridges in this funky plate. So you can't really get much food up here. Most of the food might fall here, but actually, there's not much food on these bumps up here. But they're thinking they're eating more than they actually are. So this plate is tricking their mind into that. Okay, I think that's it for our reading. Yes, that will be it, and we will move on to a different activity after the break. Well done with your reading, guys. So we're going to go into a kind of a different, shorter reading activity. And if we have time, we'll do a discussion on junk food. So we'll see you in 10 minutes. Have a nice break. Bye-bye. Hello guys and welcome back. Here we are in our last class for Thursday. Woo! All right. So, as I said before, we're going to be doing another reading, but this compared to The Guardian, it's more of a short, kind of, fun reading. So, history. Lets them eat cake. This is what we're going to focus on. If we finish up though, what we are going to do is we'll do a little discussion on junk food. Junk food means unhealthy food, essentially. Cake, ice cream, sugary, greasy stuff, essentially. All right. Okay, so here we have this, and I would like you to pull this out. So sorry, I think I said reading. I think this is meant to be a listening exercise. So you're gonna have to listen to me gabber away a little bit more. I apologize. So this is a listening exercise. All right, so here you're going to have this beautiful royal lady saying, let them eat cake. And this is what I'd like you to pull out. Okay, so let's start with a warm up. Okay, so let's do the first question. Number 1. What do you know about France? Dun, da, 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 na, 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 na. That's the French national anthem, by the way. Okay, so France, la France. Here's a little word bubble, and I want you just to type in anything you know about France, anything at all. Could be about the language, food, famous people, location, history, whatever. Type in anything you know about France. Ready, set, go. So I'm gonna make a few categories just to kind of make it easier. Maybe I should actually move this down a little bit. La France. Okay, here we go. France. Okay, there. So here, let's do food. Food. And maybe talk about culture. Okay. Maybe travel, sightseeing. Travel. And how about maybe history? All right, go ahead, guys. If you can think of any other categories, let me know. So, for example, French history. What about Napoleon? Oh, Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon, the angry army general, depicted as being short, but apparently he wasn't that short. What's another one? Revolution. All right, you might not know maybe you know what revolution is, but basically revolutions happen when the greater populace, citizens, are not happy with the way things are going. So what do? They go to the government or the king or queen or whoever's ruling the country, and they have a revolution. They're like, we want change. We don't like the way this country is being run. Kind of similar, a little bit similar to activism or activist. How about culture? Culture, French culture. For example, I know they're really into fashion over there. The French like to dress very nicely. They're quite good-looking folk. How about food? What are some famous food or drinks in France? So I'm gonna go with the obvious. I'm gonna do baguette. Baguette. Oui, oui, monsieur. Oh, une baguette. Okay, and I'm being super offensive now to the French. Sorry, French people. I love you. You are awesome. Okay, so that's just like one example. Come on, guys, don't be shy. Cheese. Someone wrote cheese. Thank you so much. Cheese. Absolutely. Cheese, cheese, cheese. Oh, my favorite kind of cheese is especially like brie. It's kind of stinky, but like you can spread it on a baguette or crackers. It's so good. Oh my God. Oh. Yeah, cheese, French cheese, simply the best. I see someone wrote travel. They wrote Paris. Yeah, absolutely. Paris, Paris. And yeah, what can you see in Paris? Think of a few popular travel destinations, perhaps. Wine. Somebody wrote wine. Thank you very much. Absolutely. The French are very famous for their wine. How about the Eiffel Tower? Eiffel Tower, Eiffel Tower. Someone wrote the Louvre. Excellent. Yeah. Louvre. We talked about it, the famous art museum, I think 3 weeks ago. We had a reading article about this. Or there's many other cool places you can travel to, like Mont Saint-Michel, the island on the sea, or Champs-Élysées. Oh, Champs-Élysées. Oh, Champs-Élysées. Okay, I'm not seeing much response from anybody else, so I think we'll leave it at this. If you guys have anything else you want to talk about and add here, you can type it in any time and I'm gonna write it in. Okay, how about number 2? Who was Mary Antoinette? Marie Antoinette. All right. So I'm gonna erase number 1. Oh, wow, that was loud. I'm so sorry. Who was Marie Antoinette? Antoinette. Okay. Any thoughts? Who is Marie Antoinette? I'm going to give you a hint. She's very prominent in French history. Marie Antoinette. Antoinette. All right. So she kind of belongs under the history category. She's quite famous. In particular, she's famous for one phrase. What phrase do you think that could be? Or if you know anything else about Marie Antoinette, please type it in. Anything at all. Okay. Any other thoughts? Who was Marie Antoinette? All right, I'll give you a hint. It's the lady on the picture here. This is Marie Antoinette. This is her. Okay, so obviously she was a lady. She's a lady. She's a lady. Yeah, French, thank you. She was a French lady, a lady from France. Very good. Any other thoughts, guys? Ah, she was a queen. Good. Someone wrote she was a queen. Yes, she was a queen. Very good. Yeah. Any other thoughts? If you don't have any other thoughts, that's totally fine. Don't worry. Okay. Let's go on to the third question. If you have any more thoughts about Marie Antoinette, you can type it in though, and I'll write them up, okay? Okay. Number 3. Is there a famous person in your country's history who is hated? Oh, this is a very loaded question. So, is there a historical figure that everybody hates in your country? I'm trying to think of someone in Canada that people hated. Maybe, okay, this is a little bit more recent and not everybody hated this person, but for Canada, there were many people who didn't like Stephen Harper, and he used to be the Prime Minister of Canada about 5 years ago, until then Justin Trudeau came and he was the new Prime Minister of Canada. But yeah, this was our old Prime Minister. Some people did like him, but there were a lot of people who really did not like him. So he's one example of a famous person in Canadian history that other people didn't like. I'm sorry, I can't really think of anybody further back, but if I do, I'll let you know. How about you? In your country, is there someone in your country's history that everybody hated or many people hated? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so I'm thinking what we're gonna do now is we're gonna move on to the key vocabulary. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Bye-bye wine, au revoir baguette, adieu brie and cheese, le fromage. Okay, get rid of all this, get rid of all that. Alrighty, almost done, and she gone. Okay, oops. Now, key vocabulary. This is some words I want you to learn before we start the reading. Okay. Oh, I didn't quite erase that, my bad. Okay. Key vocab. Key vocab. Okay. So, let's see, we have thus. We have luxurious. And we have citizens, and we have poverty. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go over most of these words. Maybe not all of them. Right, let's go over this. Thus. Okay, so thus is similar to therefore. So therefore, or it could almost even be something similar to so. All right, so I'll give you an example. Okay. So I had no food at home. Thus I starved. Okay, so I want you to know that this is not very common in the spoken language. This is almost like very formal, almost older English. So don't worry about knowing how to use this term. It's not super common. Okay, you'll find it more in writing than spoken English, most likely. All right, next we have luxurious. So this is an adjective. Actually, I think what we'll do is I will tell you some of the words, but I want you guys to look up some of the words in a dictionary and tell me the meaning, okay? So what I would like you guys to do is to please look up the meaning of luxurious. You can look on Google, you can look on a dictionary, it's totally up to you, but please tell me the meaning, the definition of luxurious. Ready, set, go. I'll prep the board for others. Okay, just take a drink. Okay. And in the meantime, I'm going to explain citizens. Okay. What are citizens? Okay. So citizens are the people of a nation, essentially. So for example, I am a Canadian citizen. So that means I live in Canada. Canada is my home. So I am a Canadian citizen. Citizen. Usually it means you have like a Canadian passport too. Maybe you were born in Canada, maybe not. So that is what citizen means. Okay, and any thoughts? Luxurious. Angela, did you happen to look up this word? Could you give me a definition? That would be so awesome if you could, please and thank you. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of thus. Okay, that was not too important, I think. What else? Neglect. I think that's a good word. Neglect. Okay, so neglect can be a verb or it can be a noun. This is a verb / noun. I'm trying to think. Let's do the verb form. Okay, so I'm going to do neglect. I will explain neglect in the meantime. All right, so what is neglect? Neglect is basically like when you ignore someone and you don't support them with their needs. You don't support their needs. Support their needs. So I guess this is the verb form, so we'll just make this a verb. Okay, so for example, neglecting your pets is awful. Like if you don't give your pets food, water, or you don't give them love and attention, that is neglect. You are neglecting your pet dog or cat. So I write down the example. Pet neglect is an awful thing. Okay, so here I wrote the noun form, sorry. So this is how you can use it as a noun. So pet neglect is an awful thing. Don't neglect your pets. That's the verb form. Okay, I'm not seeing any response for luxurious. That's all right. But luxurious basically means like very fancy and expensive. Very fancy and expensive. Okay, so for example, Louis Vuitton bags are very luxurious. They're really fancy. They're really expensive. You can live a luxurious lifestyle. Some people in Vancouver live a very luxurious lifestyle. They have the best clothing. They have all the fancy Louis Vuitton bags. They have luxury cars. Yeah, so I'll write that down under new words. New words. Luxurious, luxurious, luxurious. Do you think Marie Antoinette lived a luxurious life? What do you guys think? You might know. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of neglect. If you can, I would like you guys to look up poverty. This is a noun. Can you please look up the definition of poverty? And type in the definition for me. Again, you can use Google or a dictionary, that's totally fine. Or you can give your own definition, that's fine too. Just give me something, guys, work with me, work with me. Alrighty, and I'm gonna get rid of citizens because that's been up there for a while. Okay, what else do we have? Rage, okay. This again, could be a noun or a verb. Let's do the noun form. Okay, so rage basically means extreme anger. So very anger, extreme anger. So for example, maybe you could say, not true, but my sister has a lot of rage towards the government. Just an example. So let's pretend my sister, she has a lot of problems with the Canadian government. She doesn't like the way they do things, and she's always like, they're doing this wrong. Like, this is not how a country should be run. Urgh! And maybe she writes a lot of angry emails and sends them out. So that is what rage is, extreme anger. Oh, excuse me. I don't know why I got out of breath there. Okay, so I think we're good with luxurious. I'm gonna get rid of that. Once again, poverty. Please give me a definition, okay? It would be absolutely lovely. Angela, if you're out there, could you search up poverty for me? Thank you. Okay, let's see. Indifferent. Indifferent. So this is an adjective. Indifferent. Oh, okay. Let's switch our pens. This one's getting a little tired. So what does indifferent mean? So I know it looks like different. It's not quite related to that, even though it looks like it. So to be indifferent means like, to not really care. So, not care. So for example, maybe I could say, I'm indifferent about, well, this pen is not doing too well either, my apologies. Switch it up again. I'm indifferent about, much better, what kind of car I drive. Okay, so this is true about me. Like, I'm indifferent about what kind of car I drive. I don't really care about what car I drive. As long as it's cheap, because I don't want to spend a lot of money. Yeah, I'm gonna write down indifferent, and I'll write down rage. Indifferent. Indifferent. This is a verb or a noun. Okay, indifferent, adjective. Neglect. Also a noun or a verb. Okay, so I don't see any responses for poverty. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, so I feel like we may have touched on this word yesterday. So the adjective form is poor. So basically, poverty is the state of being poor. So essentially, if someone is living in poverty or is in poverty, that's the common way we say it. If someone is living in poverty, that means they don't have much money. Maybe they have a hard time getting food and fresh water and clothing. So I'm going to put that down, to live in poverty. So this is kind of a phrasal verb. So to live in poverty means to have a poor lifestyle. You can't afford much. So that's poverty. So to have a poor lifestyle. So little money. Remember, we can't count money really, so we say little money, little food and water, maybe bad housing. Maybe the housing is awful. Okay. This is an issue all over the world. Poverty is a big issue around the world. Okay. Right. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of rage because I think we kind of got the idea here. And I'm going to get rid of indifferent. I don't care. I don't really care. Okay. Infamous. Let's do infamous. Infamous. So this is an adjective. I would like you guys to look up infamous for me. If you could, that would be excellent. Please look this up in the dictionary, Google, whatever. Give me a sentence, a definition. Thank you. All right. Be beheaded. So to be beheaded, basically the active form is behead. Okay, so this is kind of a gory term, but it's very famous in France. It's where, in French history, I should say, not now, but to be beheaded is where your head is cut off. So basically, boop, your head falls off. Well, not falls off. Usually somebody chops your head off, maybe with an axe. So that's beheading. That means like your head is chopped off, essentially. Okay. So to be beheaded means to have your head severed. So that's another word. Severed means to be cut off. Severed from your body. bye-bye head. It's pretty gory. So that is what beheading is. This usually doesn't happen anymore from what I understand normally. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of poverty because I think we're done with that. How are we doing, guys? Any thoughts on infamous? Let me know. Please type in infamous. Give me a definition. Okay, what else do we have? To meet one's fate. Okay, this is an idiom. To meet one's fate. Okay, so this idiom, it basically means to die. So, to die. So, I'll give you an example. One day, I know I'm going to meet my fate. When I do, I hope I will be sleeping peacefully in bed. I want a painless death. So that's one way you could say to meet one's fate. Okay, so I could say, I will meet my fate someday. I will meet my fate someday, hopefully, while I'm sleeping in a nice warm bed. Okay. Cool. Okay. And I still don't see any thoughts about infamous. That is unfortunate. All right. So infamous, it's basically the same thing as famous. I don't know why we have two different words. So we could say, yeah, so to be very famous, especially in a historical context, especially in history. So, for example, Mary Antoinette is an infamous historical person of France. She's a very infamous person. Okay, now, okay, we have one last one. I'm gonna get rid of the creepy head chopped off picture. No more beheading in this classroom. Okay. Brutal. Oh, brutal. Okay. This is an adjective. This is a good one because we use this in spoken English quite a bit. So, brutal. What does that mean? Brutal means like very severe, intense, tough. So, very tough. Could be severe, difficult. Okay, I'm gonna write that down here actually, because I think it's a good word to learn, good word to know. Brutal. So I could say, for example, man, that exam was brutal. I could hardly answer any of the questions. It was super difficult. So that's an example sentence I'll put for you here. That exam was brutal. It was way too hard. It was brutal. Okay. All right. And I think that about wraps it up. Oh, except for revolution. Maybe I should write that one out. So specifically the French Revolution. Okay. So I'll try to give you a little bit of background. So remember how I explained what a revolution is? So a revolution, it's when citizens rise against the government or monarchy. Against the government. I'm going to put gov for short. Or monarchy due to poor living conditions or unfairness or unfairness. I mean, a revolution is not always like this. A revolution can be smaller and quieter. It could just simply be people like being like activists, trying to get a change, especially against the government or monarchy. Monarchy is like a king and a queen. This is what they used to have in France. So they still have a monarchy in England, one of the few countries in the world that still has a monarchy. So a revolution, basically, especially the French Revolution though, was the citizens living in poverty. They did not like what was going on, so they rose up against the French monarchy saying, hey, we don't have any food, we're hungry, we're starving. You need to be responsible and help us. You're our king and queen. So that's the revolution. So sometimes they can be very violent and bloody, but not always. However, the French Revolution was particularly violent and bloody. We're going to find out more about it now as I read out the story to you. Okay, so that is it for the vocabulary. If you have any questions about the words, just let me know at any time. I can give you more example sentences. I can give you better definitions. Yeah, okay, let's get rid of all that. And let's go over the comprehension quickly. Let's just make sure we know what information we're looking for. Comprehension. That means to understand. Okay. So number 1 is a where question. Where was Marie Antoinette born? Okay, so these are your key information to look for. Keywords, blah. Keywords. Where was Marie Antoinette born? Watch out for born. And number 2, this is a true or false. Okay, so we have 2 here. A, the citizens of France, so the people of France were very poor. Were very poor. They were living in poverty. True or false? And B, King Louie and Marie Antoinette, I'm just going to put MA for short, Marie Antoinette, tried very hard. They put a lot of effort in, tried very hard to help their French citizens. True or false? They're citizens. Okay. So, number 2 is just true or false questions. So, try to see, are the citizens of France, were they poor? Did the king and queen try to help them? And number 3. All right. So, what phrase is, let them eat cake? Let them eat cake. Short for. Okay, so when you hear this phrase, there's going to be a little bit of a definition. Like, what's the meaning of this? I want you to listen for the meaning of this, okay? And the last question. When, was the only one where. Not where, but when did King Louis die? Okay, so here the keyword is die. All right, so I think these questions are fairly simple overall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out this transcript, the story. I want you to listen and try to answer the questions as best as you can, okay? So before I start, I'm just going to take one more swig of water. Much better. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, are you ready? Get your typey fingers or your pencils ready, because here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Imagine this scene. A woman in gray, dirty clothes sitting alone in a prison cell. This woman is Marie Antoinette, the last queen of France. Marie Antoinette was born into a royal family in Austria. She married her husband in May 1770 at the age of 14. Still a teenager, huh? In 1774, Louis became king, and thus Marie Antoinette became Queen of France. She loved living a luxurious life filled with jewelry, artwork, and fine foods. In particular, cake. She loved cake. However, the common citizens of France were living in poverty. There was little to eat and little money. Life was difficult. It was so difficult that the population began feeling angry and they wanted change for the better. King Louis and Marie Antoinette were neglecting their people. Eventually, the citizens' hunger turned into rage. And from this, the French Revolution was born. Marie Antoinette was cold and indifferent to their suffering. She didn't try to help them, and instead continued to enjoy her life in luxury. She is most known for saying the infamous phrase, "Let them eat cake," which means if they cannot eat bread, they can just eat cake. However, many experts believe that she didn't actually say this. But the way her citizens felt about her was clear. They hated her and they wanted her dead. Uh-oh. The revolution grew and King Louis was executed by his own people. He was beheaded by the guillotine in 1793. Excuse me. After Louis met his fate at the guillotine, Marie Antoinette waited alone to know hers. Back to our original scene. Marie Antoinette, the once beautiful Queen of France, waits in a cold, dark room, wearing dirty clothes. She shivers as she knows she will take her final breath soon. As the prison door opens, a guard comes to take her away on a cart to face the brutal, bloody blade. The end. Okay, guys, what did you think of that? Good story? Or too scary, too bloody for you? Was it too brutal of a story for you? Okay, guys, so now I would like you to try and answer the comprehension questions. Okay, number 1, where was Marie Antoinette born? Okay, so I'm going to do the listening again, and I'm going to read the section that has this answer. Okay, here we go. Listen closely. Marie Antoinette was born into a royal family in Austria. All right, that's the answer. So please type in your answers now. Where was she born? Okay, number 2, true or false? Let's do A. The citizens of France were very poor. True or false? So I'm going to read that section. Okay. However, the common citizens of France were living in poverty. There was little to eat and little money. Life was difficult. Okay, so what do you think? A, true or false? Type in your answers now. B, King Louis and Marie Antoinette tried very hard to help their citizens. Okay, I'll read out the section with this information. Okay. It was so difficult that the French population began feeling angry, and they wanted change for the better. King Louis and Marie Antoinette were neglecting their people. Eventually, the citizens' hunger turned to rage, and from this, the French Revolution was born. True or false? Don't delay. Type in your answers today. Okay, and how about number 3? What phrase is let them eat their cake short for? Okay, so I'm going to read out this section and listen carefully. Okay. Marie Antoinette was cold and indifferent to the suffering. She didn't try to help them and instead continued to enjoy her luxury life. She is most known for saying the infamous phrase, "Let them eat cake," which means if they cannot eat bread, they can eat cake. Okay, so what's the meaning of this? What is it short for? I'll say it one more time. She is most known for saying the infamous phrase, "Let them eat cake," which means if they cannot eat bread, they can eat cake. All right, so please type in your answers for this one. Okay, and the last question. When did King Louie die? All right, so I'll read out this part. The revolution grew, and King Louie was executed by his own people. He was beheaded at the guillotine in 1793. After Louis met his fate at the guillotine, Marie Antoinette waited alone to know hers. Okay, so when did he die? What year? Okay, let's see. I think I have some answers coming in, which is awesome. Where was Marie Antoinette born? Someone wrote Austria, and that is indeed correct. Good. Austria, not Australia, but Austria. This is a country, and it's next to Germany and close to Czech Republic. So it's kind of in Central Europe. So kind of close to France, next to Germany though. So Austria is where Marie Antoinette was born. All right, and true or false? I see an answer. The citizens of France were very poor. You wrote true. That is correct. Yes, the citizens of France were indeed very poor. They were living in poverty, little food and little money. All right. King Louis and Marie Antoinette tried very hard to help their citizens. True or false? Somebody wrote false. That is correct. They didn't try at all. It actually says Marie Antoinette was cold and indifferent to their suffering, and that King Louis and Marie Antoinette were neglecting their people. Remember what neglect means? It means to ignore their needs. They're like, oh, they're hungry? Whatever. I want to go eat my cake now. I don't care about the citizens. Meh. Oh, right. Good. Okay. The phrase, what is the phrase, let them eat cake short for? I didn't see any answers for this, unfortunately. So I'm going to get rid of this part. This is probably the trickiest question in the lot here. All right, so basically, so this means if, it's short for if they cannot eat bread. So here's some bread, but there's no bread. No bread at all. They can eat cake. They could eat cake. Yummy, yummy. Here we go. Yummy, yummy cake. Now, looking at this, how do you think people living in poverty can eat cake if they can't find any bread? Because bread, you need flour at least. But for cake, you need flour and sugar and, butter, cream, and all this other fancy stuff. So how the heck can people in poverty eat cake if they can't eat bread? That's kind of ridiculous, right? So this phrase, let them eat cake, it essentially means Like, it kind of shows people's insensitivity to the problems that poor people have. So, you know, here's a person and they're starving. They're super hungry. Maybe there's many people and yeah, they're hungry, they're dirty, they're homeless. Like, they're having a really bad time. But this person, like, let's say this is Marie Antoinette. Like, she's like, whatever. She doesn't really care. So she doesn't really understand how much trouble these people are having. So if she's saying, well, just let them eat cake if like they can't have bread, like whatever, just give them cake. But she doesn't understand how serious the problem is. So basically, let them eat cake kind of means you don't really know, you don't understand, or you don't care about the problems that people in unfortunate situations have. Okay, now, last question. When did King Louie die? Somebody wrote 1793. Blah. Thank you, good job. 1793. He was beheaded, remember? At the guillotine. Do you guys know what a guillotine is? It's a French invention, actually. It looks kind of like this. So, basically, what you do is you put your head here, and here you have a very sharp blade. Ding! And you kind of drop a rope. And if you let go of the rope, what happens is, oh my gosh, that was loud, sorry. So you let go of the rope, and the blade comes down whoosh, and chops the head off of somebody. This is a guillotine. Guillotine. So this was very popular in the French Revolution. It was a very quick, easy death, which was nice, I guess, compared to like a slow, painful death. But yeah, that is the guillotine. Okay, so I think that about wraps it up for most of the questions. We have 3 minutes left, so let's do the discussion questions. Okay, so I think we're gonna skip number 1 for time's sake because we only got 3 minutes. And I wanna do question number 2 for discussion. Has your country ever experienced a revolution? So kind of like the French Revolution, you know, where the citizens got angry and they chopped off King Louis and Marie Antoinette's head. That's a very intense revolution. Maybe in your country it wasn't this intense. It was more quiet or subdued, but it does happen. Has it happened in your country? Any sort of revolution? In my country, in Canada, it definitely has happened. So one revolution I can think of is, I think it was Red River, Manitoba, but I could be wrong. But my history is a bit foggy. But basically, the First Nations, the Indigenous people of Canada, they used to live in Canada on their own. You know, they had their own life, their own culture, and everything. But the Europeans came to Canada and they took that life away from them. They said, you cannot speak your language anymore. You can only speak English, and you have to go to church. You can't practice your own religion. You have to live the way we live. No more ceremonies. You have to abandon your culture, and you have to live like Europeans. So after a while, the First Nations didn't like this, and so they had a revolution to protect their land and protect their way of life from European colonialists. Today, it's still happening, maybe like on a different scale. Maybe not as violent, but we still have some revolutions happening in Canada today from our First Nations people against the government. Sometimes the government encroaches on territory, for example, that used to belong to a particular nation. And then the government wants to do something like build a pipeline and they don't like that. So I don't see any responses from anyone about revolutions. That's okay. It's a bit of a difficult question, I know. All right, so we've come to the end of our lesson, unfortunately. Just want to thank you so much for tuning in today and for your participation. I'll be here again tomorrow where we'll be doing a review of grammar and preparing for your quizzes. Now, don't forget, try to get your dictation in tomorrow. That would be absolutely lovely. All right, guys, hope you have a fantastic night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Bye.